Okay, welcome everyone from all over the world. We've just been taking a little, in case you're just tuning in or listening to the recording, we've just been taking a roll call. People from all over, actually quite a few people from Australia here today and everywhere from Iowa to Planet Love. That's my planet too. So I'm very, very, very honored that all of you have taken time out of your busy lives to be here today. And if you are listening to the recording, welcome. You are just as much a part of the energy field that we're creating here today, which is an important one, maybe more important than you realize. And I know that most of you came here because you or someone you love is suffering from something and you're looking for solutions. And you most likely are looking for non-drug, non-harmful, non-toxic, non-surgical ways to work with either physical, mental, emotional, and all the various reasons people come here, which in a moment I'm going to ask you more about. But people come, work with me from all over the world. I've worked with people now in over 160 countries. Never thought that would happen. Never in a million years of my life. So, oh wait, I just realized my speaker needs to be plugged in so I can hear you if I need to. I never thought that would happen. And it's been a very exciting journey, scary at times, as I know you can relate to. But the truth that I have discovered is that if you stay on your path and you keep seeking, the answers will show up. They just don't always show up when we want them to show up, but they do show up. And there are reasons why we go through these trials and tribulations. I'll tell you, this year I felt like I was in a riptide, just caught in a riptide and couldn't get out for a little while there. And I know, but I know better now. So I don't freak out like I used to. And I don't drink or drug and numb it out like I used to because it doesn't do you any good. In fact, I can't even imagine how anyone would try to be less present when you're going through challenges. We need to be more present than ever if something challenging is going on in your life. So if you have a health issue, if you're here because of chronic pain, or maybe you have insomnia or anxiety or depression, or you have some other type of chronic illness or chronic fatigue, or no matter what you try, you keep getting sick, or nothing is showing up on a medical test. A lot of people I work with, that's the case, and nobody knows how to help them. If you have digestive drama, if you have any issue under the sun, literally, it could be you've been in a car accident, or your relationships have gone haywire, or your money doesn't work and flow. Pain is pain. Okay, pain is pain. We're not just talking back pain. Painful experiences in your life are trying to show you something, teach you something, and get you back on the right track. But we tend to have blind spots because our thinking is limited. And so it does often take someone outside of our own loop of thinking, our own habits of thought, to help us see things differently. You take the clicker on the TV and you click it, and there's a new channel with a new story. We all need a clicker for our habits of thought. So today I hope to be your clicker, and I hope to click a new channel for you and help you see things differently. Everything, underline everything that is going on that you don't want, that you're trying to stop or get rid of, that you can't stand, maybe you even hate it, that you have feel like, why me? Am I cursed? Do I have bad karma? What's going on here? Why me? Everything is there to show you something. And the more you resist it, listen closely, this is the key. The more you resist the very things that you can't stand, don't want, and are trying to get rid of, the more they grow, get stuck, and never move out. I'm going to say that again. No matter what you have, I don't care if it's that you have, chronic pain of some kind, back pain, neck pain, hip pain. If it or if you have not slept in years, or if you just are full of panic attacks, or if you're broke and always broke, and no matter how much money comes in, it goes out faster than it comes in, or your relationships, you can't hold on to them, or they don't work. Everything that you don't like, don't want, and try to stop, that's resisting what is. Now, I am not saying, well, let me back up. That's resisting what is, and you will end up blowing up and increasing the patterns, the symptoms, the pains that you're trying to get rid of unknowingly, and make it worse by resisting them. There is an incredible peace that comes when you learn to accept what is. Now, what I mean by that is not, I don't mean, oh, just everything's fine. The abuser just goes on and I just take it. No, that's not what I'm saying. Oh, I don't do anything about my pain or symptoms. I'm not saying that. I'm also not saying it's all in your head or your mind, or you can just, pretend it's not there and la la affirmations and hope that it just magically disappears. I'm not saying that. Over many years, I developed a system of non-resistance to pain, symptoms, and suffering. That's my pain-free living program. And it includes the high-speed energy healing that you probably have heard about, and that's why you're here. And there's a three-pronged approach I discovered that we all have to take. Otherwise, some important puzzle piece gets missed. And this is why people don't heal. This is why maybe you've been desperately trying everything under the sun and nothing's worked. I hear it every day. I've been there myself. I really empathize. It's not fun. It's not a fun part of the journey, but it's an important part of the journey because you need to learn something from it so you don't keep repeating it. Otherwise, I've seen people depend on a technique or a method or a person, and they get temporary relief and then it comes back. Why? Because you're doing something that's actually participating in the very problem you're trying to get rid of. Now, don't shoot the messenger, please. I don't say that to be mean. It's that we don't see our part. There's often the blind spots. And there's very little being taught out there that I can see or hear or find where they really get down to the roots of the nitty gritty. They might, and again, I'm not bashing any type of medicine. Everybody is trying to help in the way they know and the way they've been trained and the way that's worked for either them or someone else. But the roots of something physical in your life, whether it's money or back pain, or your husband or wife or teenager, the roots are not physical. The roots are not physical. And almost every single method I see out there and person I hear out there is talking about something physical that needs to change. Now, there may be actions you need to take in the physical, but what needs to change is not physical. You don't need more money or, to get divorced. I'm not giving you advice, stay or don't stay. I'm giving examples that are very general, very wide and general. I'm not saying that you don't need to stretch your body. I'm not saying you don't need to exercise or eat a certain way. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you need to recognize what came first before your back went out, before you couldn't sleep, before your reactions to your teenager made you want to pull your hair out and throw her out the window. What came first before your relationship started going downhill? What came first before you couldn't hold on to a job, before you couldn't find your purpose, before you felt isolated and alone? What came first? And in every case, I can tell you what came first. It could have been a big event, but it could have been a series of events. But no matter what the events, because people always come back and say, but I had a car accident, Deborah, and this is real, this is physical. My spine was crushed. I understand that, and I'm not denying that at all. And I'm not saying you pretend that didn't happen. But what came as a result of that or any other experience you've been through in your journey of life, what came was a series of ideas, thoughts, beliefs, interpretations. And those series of ideas, thoughts, beliefs, and interpretations generated an emotional reaction. Your thoughts generate emotional reactions. And guess what? Thoughts and emotions are made of energy. Now, if you don't like hearing about energy and vibration and frequency, you're on the wrong station here. You may want to click the clicker because you're going to hear about it over and over on every call, because that is at the root of everything and why it shows up and why it releases and heals and leaves. Doesn't matter which side of the fence. Your thoughts are a force as real as electricity. Your emotions are a very strong force. They're like the gas that makes your car run. Your emotions emit frequencies. These frequencies will either create health or health hell. And so those of you who are into affirmations, you can recite all the positive affirmations day and night till you are just out of wind. But if you have not learned to access and release the emotions, this is why so many people are stuck and still hurting and have symptoms showing up. There's something to be learned from your emotions, honored. Your emotions are there to help you honor yourself and to get in touch with your truth. And they're there for a reason. Sometimes they're there because you have faulty thinking. If I walk around all day thinking life is against me, nobody loves me, I'll never find a job, my pain will never go away, I'm cursed, I'm going to have pretty crappy emotions as a result of that way of thinking, right? So I'm not saying positive thinking is bad or wrong, but I am saying that when you shift your thinking, yes, you will start to notice at times different emotions. But for the most part, most people like to avoid certain emotions and only hang out in with other emotions. And all health, the resiliency of health is based on being able to feel all of your emotions. The anger, the fear, the grief, the shame, the guilt, the love, the joy, the bliss, all of it. You cannot expect to only feel joy and happy and free and avoid your fears, your doubts, your anger, your rage. You cannot cut those off. That's what almost killed me. I found some pretty little pills to numb out those emotions for quite a few years. And what happened was the energy from those emotions was still there, but they were getting buried. And what happened is they came out sideways as various symptoms: ulcers, stomach aches, digestive trauma, insomnia, anxiety, depression. Then more pretty little pills to cover over the feelings I didn't want to feel. Do you get what I'm saying? I just kept covering up. It's like having a big gashing bloody wound on your arm. And instead of cleaning it out and really dealing with what's there, you just put 5 or 10 Band-Aids over it. And every day you get up, you put another Band-Aid over it. That thing will never heal. That's what we do to ourselves, because we live in a world that doesn't reinforce emotional empowerment, that doesn't want your feelings around. The workplace doesn't want your feelings there. A lot of people don't want your feelings there. You probably don't want other people's feelings near you either. People talk about it all the time. They say to me, I feel so drained around certain people. All they do is, poor me, poor me. It is draining. It's very draining, which is why we need to learn to release them and honor them and not resist them. You're either in ease or you're in dis-ease. Ease or dis-ease. Nature is really quite simple. It's the complicated humans that muck it up. If we all just followed our nature like animals do, we're the only animals that override with the mental aspect of thinking and analyzing. And again, there's nothing wrong with thinking and analyzing and using logic. And, there's a purpose for all those, for thinking, but you want to line up with thoughts and thinking habits that get you where you want to go, not where you don't want to go. And you want to use your thoughts in a way that generates the emotions that bring you vitality and energy and help you feel alive. Who wants more of that? Anybody? Yeah. So then the three-pronged approach that I use when I work with people is we start to really examine our thoughts. And we start throwing out 99% of them, because most of them are not even true. And yet there's nowhere along the educational track that anyone teaches us to examine our thoughts. Most people get afraid of their thoughts, as if there's something inside of them possessing them and doing all these thoughts, creating, running all these thoughts through them. And they think those thoughts are real and they believe them. Now, that is not the case. You're generating thoughts, you. And we know from science, the average person thinks 90,000 a day. Think about that one. Are at least 89,000 of the thoughts you're thinking every day, thoughts that make you feel good, expanded, lighter, freer, or are they thoughts that bring you down, drain your energy, make you scared, worried, right? Most people are either in the future, thinking about the future, or thinking about the past. And when you think about the future, you will find yourself feeling afraid and anxious. If anytime you've noticed that you're feeling afraid and anxious, if you were to stop and examine your thoughts, what just preceded, you would find you were always, underline always, 100% of the time, you were thinking about the future in a frightening way. You were telling yourself a scary story that hasn't happened yet. And here's the kicker. You're making it up. You don't know because it hasn't happened yet. You are imagining an outcome you don't want. That is not the proper way to use your mind. And it will always, underline, always generate emotions that will make you feel afraid and bad. And those emotions go directly to certain organs, certain functions like digestion, elimination, sleep, hormone disruption. Those emotions go to your nervous system, your immune system, your muscles, your bones. Do you know there's studies that show that if you're happy, you build stronger bones? Those are facts. So most people think all these things are happening to them. They don't see their part in them. And I'm here to tell you, if there's nothing else you hear today, I want you to leave today remembering one thing, and that is, I know it feels like it many times, but you are not a victim. You are not a limited human victim of life. Life is not against you, it's for you, but no one's taught you how to live life using all the gifts that we've been given with the faculty of mind, with the emotional energy, and how to access our energy field, which is the third prong that I use when I work with people. So you're not a victim, even when you feel like it. And I've had many of those days, and there are days when you feel like it, but it's not the truth. And you need to start shifting today if you want to heal. You need to start shifting the idea that this is happening to me and I'm a victim of it. And you'll notice it in your language. Many people say, oh no, Deborah, I know I'm not a victim. I'm a spiritual being. I'm unlimited and all this. And then 2 minutes later, I hear them saying, but so-and-so made me do this or think that way or feel this way. You see, no one's making you anything. You're choosing based on your blind spot. Your blind spot is some kind of conditioning that you got along the way that you just accepted now. It's your normal, and you think it's normal to think a certain way, feel a certain way, act a certain way. You have ideas that you got implanted with probably decades ago, where you have this idea that people should fill in the blank. And then when they don't, you get all riled up about it because they're not doing what they should do. See, those are all false ideas and concepts. And that generates expectations, and expectations are resentments waiting to happen. And so if you don't like feeling angry and resentful, you're going to need to stop trying to change other people and work on yourself and where you have blind spots in your thinking process and in your emotions. Are you with me? No one's, yeah, okay, good. I was going to say, when in the olden days, if you were on stage, people threw tomatoes. There's been no tomato throwing yet, and there's no tomatoes in the reaction. So I'm lucky. There's only like thumbs up and thumbs down, roses and hearts. So I'm good. The third prong of the key to healing, and this is the, in my passionate opinion, this is the gift of the 21st century. We've been given a tool. I thank my higher power every day for being gifted with this tool to help people speed up the healing process. There's nothing faster that I'm aware of than working in the energy field. It should be our first choice, not the last stop on the block. And it's completely safe. It doesn't require me ever saying to anyone, well, you need to quit eating this, and you need to eat that, and you need to do that, and exercise this, and you need to do anything. I don't have to give that type of advice. Thank goodness. Be a lot of tomatoes throwing. So the energy field is like a recording device that's recorded every single thing that's ever happened to you. And I believe in your entire span of life, which in my opinion has gone on longer than what you're experiencing here and now. And it most likely is parallel. You may have other, I believe I have discovered we're multidimensional beings. And what I mean by that is that you exist on different channels. Just like different shows are on different stations of the TV, if you change the frequency, you see a different movie. You are multifaceted, and you exist on other planes of existence. Now, I don't want to get into a big esoteric discussion tonight. I want to keep it practical because I know that's why you're here. But this quantum perspective is just liberating when you really recognize that when you make a change here, you're affecting yourself and your lineage and a whole string, a whole thread that's like dominoes, all connected. It's very powerful. And in fact, you're actually helping everybody because of this energy field. We live in a gigantic energy field. I actually, the proper term is information field. You're hearing more and more the word energy field now, so it's becoming more and more common for people to hear it. But it was actually classified by physicists and termed information field. And I'll explain why. Think of the big ocean, and it's gathering, it holds, well, think of a fishbowl, better example, think of a fishbowl, and it holds the fish, the water, the algae, the food, the sunlight, the air. It's holding a lot of information in there. Think of information in a new way, not a book. Information comes through food, comes through air, comes through sunlight, comes through talking, comes through watching, comes through feeling, comes through hearing, comes through frequencies from your electronics. Information comes in many different forms. Mm-hmm. And we live, if you would everybody keep yourself muted, thank you. We live in a giant ocean of information that if you could really see the physical universe under a high-powered piece of equipment, you would see it's just vibrating energy and light carries information. Light carries information, and you're a light being. Now you can interpret that spiritually, yes, but physically you're a light being. You're made of light, and the light came before the physical. So this relates back to what I said earlier today. Is there something that always comes before the physical? And it's the invisible realm of energy and light and frequency and vibration. That came first before anything became physical. Now, if you want to get even biblical, and I'm not a religious person, but and then there was light. See, light carries information, and this information creates form. So I want you to start opening your mind and your eyes and your ears and your sensation, your ability to sense in a new way, and get out of the feeling so stuck. Hang on, I need to mute people. Grace,
and then I'll tell you that you can bring your attention.
Would you all please stay muted, and there will be a time for Q&A.
That's just fine. And so there will be pauses between each process to allow you.
Grace, I'm going to ask you to keep your phone muted.
That you can choose another item, a different item, something else that is different.
Right, I'm sorry, Grace, but you are going bye-bye. Okay, so yeah, everybody, it's very disruptive to the recording and disrespectful to unmute and stay unmuted. So obviously you all get that. Thank you. All right, let me close this out. Where was I? The energy field. And so we live in a gigantic field that's full of information, and we're always picking up that information, and everybody's picking it up whether they're conscious of it or not. Now, when you become more of a conscious creator and you take more charge of your thoughts and your emotions, that means what you're sending out, because we're not only taking in, we're sending out. It's a two-way flow, 24/7. So what you send out as you become more conscious, it's also being shared in the information field, and other people can pick up on that as well. And you will, there's a lot of talk about pollution and cleaning up the climate and all of this. But if we don't clean up our own inner climate, and do our inner work, we're actually adding and creating that pollution. We are affecting all of this, everything physical, we affect it. So it's a personal decision to wake up and heal, to do our inner cleaning, our housekeeping. And not everybody's willing to do that. So again, I want to thank you for being here, because you're here because you're searching for answers. You're obviously teachable, or you would not be here. You are obviously open to some very new ideas that are not commonplace yet. They're moving in that direction though. And these ideas about energy and vibration and light, they're here to stay. And more science is coming out with evidence to prove it's real, folks. It's no longer considered woo-woo and weird, or witchcraft, or some other nonsense. It's actually science. And it's also very spiritual and mystical. So if you're like me and you appreciate the spiritual and the mystical, don't lose your love for that. I'm not sure they'll ever figure everything out scientifically. There is mystery in the universe. And that makes it very exciting. You don't go to a football game and in the first 5 minutes want to find out who won. You go to the game because you like the whole adventure, the screaming, the yelling, every minute of the miserable highs and lows of the game. You don't want to know who won at the end, in the first 5 minutes, right? So I know we all complain about certain things and we want it to stop, but the fact is we're getting something out of the entire journey, every minute of those miserable days and every minute of those miraculous days. We're getting something out of it. We are. So if you can learn to appreciate all of it and just say, thank you, and recognize life is for me, not against me. That when you feel like you just want to end it all, you just want to stop and run and hide out and not and pull the covers over your head, those are the days to lean in and get support from help from your friends, because your thinking is off. Your thinking is off. You have changed your view. Life is still for you, but you can't see it on those days. So those are not the days to give up. Those are the days to look out a different window and ask someone for help. Because sometimes just talking about it will take the power out of it and will help you shift to a different perspective or hear yourself and help you release what's going on. This is why I still take private sessions and work with people in groups, because people need to talk and be heard. Every single person I work with, almost everyone says, nobody sees and hears me. And that, my friends, is one of the invisible root causes of disease. Not feeling seen and heard or safe to express yourself is one of the largest indicators that there will be pain, symptoms, and disease down the road. Not feeling safe, seen, and heard. Now, when was the last time you took the test for that? You know, that's a sad fact. There's no test for that. And if you share that with a lot of people, they won't know what to say. You get the deer in the headlights look. They don't know what to do with that because they're not trained to help you with that. And they probably haven't dealt with their own emotional issues either. And so they don't really want you to trigger theirs. And so if you're ever around someone who tries to stop your emotions from coming up, guarantee you you've just triggered their own unhealed, unresolved emotions, which is a very powerful root cause of pain, suffering, and symptoms. Unresolved emotions. So if there's even anyone here today on the call who can raise their hand and say, I've resolved every single emotional hurt and pain and fear that I've ever had, I'm surprised you're still on planet Earth, but maybe you're here still helping out. I mean, it is possible. I've had many, I'm not filled with that like I used to be, but I can honestly say I have not, I still have emotions. I've not resolved every single thing. And so, and there have been periods where I actually felt like I had, but then life happens. And if you're not growing, if you stay in a closet and you hermetically seal yourself from life and people, you might be able to sustain. You probably get bored out of your mind. But if you're living life and you're participating in life, which is what I assume you all want to do, then you're going to experience challenges. That's life. That's growth, actually. That's the growth process. To step outside your comfort zone and stretch outside what your normal is, that's growing. And growing will feel scary and uncomfortable till it becomes comfortable. And then it's your comfort zone again. And then you probably will take a little while enjoying that comfort zone. And then you'll say, I'm restless, I'm bored, I'm irritable. Isn't there more than this? And then you'll grow again. And then you'll be scared again. And then you'll be uncomfortable again. And then you'll expand your comfort zone. And then you'll be, oh, I'm comfortable with this now. You see, it's a lifelong journey. Yes, Shirley, it's a lifelong journey. So those of you who want to wrap it up, put it in a box, put the bow on and seal it, I'm not sure that's how it works. I used to be that type of person. I just wanted to figure it out, get it done and over with so I could have peace, right? That's not how you find peace. So back to what I said earlier, when you stop pushing against life and you stop resisting what is going on, it's such a paradox, but you will feel more peaceful when you accept everyone and everything, and including your back pain and your insomnia. Now, what happens is you begin to get more peaceful, and we can't heal without a state of inner calm. We need a state of inner calm for the body to go back into balance. You won't go back into balance if you're always feeling freaked out or depressed or anxious or mad or sad, or you just won't go back into balance. You need periods of rest, relaxation, and deep peace. And that does not come by thinking about the problem over and over and what did I do wrong and how could I have fixed it and what should I do and what could I do and damn it, why did I do that? You see, we don't heal that way. We aggravate, we pick at the wound that way, and it gets worse. It doesn't heal. It stays open and raw. So what we want to do first is work in the energy field, because much of what has happened to you, you weren't aware of choosing it, or you were so young, you were, in a way, you really were a victim many times. And you didn't have the power of choice because you were too young to even know you had a choice. Or you were too young to have a choice because your brain wasn't even formed to, make a choice. You were just in a fishbowl and they dumped stuff in it and you were in that fishbowl. That's what happens. And you were just trying to swim, paddle, and stay alive. And so I'm talking about down the road, where you're still allowing stuff to be dumped into your fishbowl that is not healthy for you. And it's your normal, because that's how it was, but it's creating algae and disease, and it's not healthy for you. And I'm not saying now you have to start using your willpower, going to exercise, I'm going to clean out the fishbowl, I'm going to go to work, you see, this doesn't work either. That creates tension, stress, and that's at the root of disease as well. We have to learn how to live more in ease and in flow. And you've heard about this flow state, probably heard that word tossed around. You get a feeling just from the word flow. Every word carries an emotional frequency, by the way, every word. So when you think of the word flow, it helps us relax, right? It's not a tense word. But what does it actually mean? How do I flow when my back hurts so bad and I can't sleep and I'm exhausted and then I'm irritable and then I want to lash out at the people I love? I get it. This is where the energy field. So back to what I was saying. You have an individual field that's an extension from your body. It's actually more subtle energy that you can't see, like you can see your physical body, but extended out beyond the skin is your energy field. It's more subtle. It's energy and light, and it's vibrating. And think of it like an instrument, like a guitar that has strings, and you know how the strings can go out of tune. The instrument is perfectly fine. You can play the instrument, but it won't sound good till you tune up the strings. Well, if your energy field has collected a lot of disturbances, your strings are out of tune and your instrument doesn't play as well. If you can start to think of all of your problems and pains this way, you will start to relax about them and not stay in such a high frenzied fear state about them. If you start to realize we just need to release the disturbances and tune up those strings so you get back into harmony. Does that make sense? Your thoughts are affecting the disturbances and or the harmony. Your emotions affect the strings, the disturbances and or the harmony. And if you allow someone like me to help you go into the energy field for you, which is the easiest, fastest way to start this whole process, I can feel where the disturbances are. And I have access for many years now to these amazing healing frequencies. Think about like why, when you go out in nature and you're in a forest or at the beach or in the mountains and you feel so good, you're feeling the frequencies that the earth emits and that literally come live streaming into the cosmos. These are free. These are for us. Life is for us, giving us this all the time. But most people don't know it or are told that's nonsense. Healing frequencies coming from the cosmos. Believe me, I mean, some of you are probably rolling your eyes, and that's okay. Roll your eyes, but stay on the call. I actually thought it was nonsense 40 years ago. I did. But today I know it's the most amazing gift that we're all being given. And so I have access to this 24/7. And I'm not, I know I've tested this for years. I know that it works, and it's very soothing. I've never had anyone tell me it wasn't soothing, that it caused any kind of harm or pain or anything. It's completely safe. And yes, it will bring up the stuff inside of you that you've been burying that's not comfortable and doesn't feel good, but that's your stuff. That's from the fishbowl that you've been collecting. We want to get that out and clean it out. So the energy field's holding all of that. And it's your energy field talks to your body. Oh, I know what I forgot to say. So earlier when I said the physicists, they classified this new field they discovered in physics, and they called it an information field because they discovered that the field informs the body. The field comes first. It collects the information and it informs every cell of your body. And it's informing your mind and your emotions, because your body, your mind, and your emotions are all one unit. They're not separate things. So you're getting informed all the time. And it can all be worked on so that it becomes harmonious in your field. They call it coherent, harmonious vibrations. That's what my high-speed healing method does, and why, to me, it's the cornerstone of my whole pain-free living program. And whenever I work with people, I recommend that I teach self-care, self-clearing tools for the mental, for the thoughts, and for the emotions. But I also recommend that you do the high-speed healing because it's so rapid that it will take years of time off of the work you need to do on yourself. And many people course correct like that, because back to what I was saying about being a quantum. In the quantum realm, there's no time and space like we think of it here in 3D. In these higher dimensional states, everything happens instantly in the now. And so that little cliche, be in the now, live in the moment, the gift of the present. See, these sound like little sing-songy cliches, but they're actually states of consciousness that are very important. And there's nothing more important than discovering the feeling of being fully present. It is truly blissful, my friends. And we want to learn to cultivate that feeling and anchor that in and have that be more of a normal for us, not a once in a lifetime LSD trip. I'm not talking about drugs. I don't even condone that to experience it, because it can be experienced naturally without any harm. I am all about no harm. So the yogis thousands of years ago understood and experienced these higher dimensional states. They knew about the bliss body. They talked about it. It's in the literature. And when I became a yoga teacher in 2001, that's when I realized, oh my God, this is explaining what I'm doing. And I realized they were able to see, feel, and sense these more subtle energy fields. And there's literally a bliss body that you and I have. It's just an invisible state you can experience. And the work to do to get there is to clear out the faulty thinking 90,000 times a day that we're doing, and the emotions that just absolutely trash our health and mental health and physical health and nervous system. And what happens though is people, instead, they get fixated on the symptoms that come as a result of these faulty thoughts and emotions. And then they spend sometimes decades, 20, 30, 40 years, trying to get rid of the insomnia, get rid of the anxiety, get rid of the thyroid issue, or whatever it is. When if we would go deeper and look at where are the faulty patterns of thought, the habits, the habitual emotions that we got from mom and dad and wherever, whomever, where we're holding them in the body, because they're made of energy, and energy has to go somewhere. And if it's not being released, it's going in, and it's imprinting and sticking like sticky notes. Make sense? Yeah. So the key is to work in all three areas in a relatively short time together, and to really facilitate that, you have to be committed to taking a little bit of time every day. It doesn't have to be hours of time. You know, people, I spend hours working on my inner work. Well, it doesn't have to take hours. Not everybody has hours. And so what I'm suggesting is that if you start getting in the habit of having quiet time every day, preferably in nature, but it doesn't have to be, you can look out a window. I see the most beautiful view right now. They've shown that the brain, if the brain is looking at or imagining, not even looking at, you could be in a jail cell and imagine the beach, and your body would have the effect of being at that beach. Your imagination is a powerful faculty that you've been given, and Einstein taught us the imagination is more important than thinking. It's really a gift we've been given to be able to affect our health and our happiness. And how many of you spend time every day using your imagination on purpose? Very few people are taught to do that. Now, you're doing it, but you're doing it unconsciously. Because every time you imagine, oh, what if that happens, and the worst, and what if, you're using your imagination, but you're using it in a way that's focused on what you don't want. This is the biggest problem on planet Earth, and I'm guilty of it too. You got to catch yourself, because you are putting energy into what you don't want and then wondering, why the heck does this show up? Because you put energy into it. You put a log on the fire, and then another log and another log and another log, and you did it for 10 years and you're still doing it. And you wonder, why won't the fire go out? Because you haven't stopped putting on the logs. Do you get it? We're participating in the process. And it's not, don't, you know, I'm not here to, I'm not blaming you. You didn't know any better, most likely. You don't even see that you were doing it. Most people don't get up every morning and say, you know, how can I hurt myself further today? I know you're not doing that. And if you could have fixed it by now, you would have. No one showed you what was really going on. Every time you go against your inner GPS, you're harming your health. Now, what's an example of going against your inner GPS? Why don't you tell me? What's an example of going against your inner GPS? Type it in the chat. Just guess, just make it up. First thought. What's the getting angry at yourself? Great, Heidi. That's a great example. A thought to do something, but you ignore it. Excellent, Penny. Yes. The need to sleep. Staying in a bad relationship. Absolutely. Doing something that doesn't bring you peace. Not listening to your intuition. Yes, these are good examples. When you see, you're always being guided by what feels ease or dis-ease internally. And when you go against it, and again, sometimes when you go against it, you learn that you had an inner GPS. And you may not even know that till you go against it. But if you've ever caught yourself and said, darn, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Or darn, I knew I should have done that. See, that was your inner GPS talking to you, and you ignored it or went against it or didn't listen to it or didn't trust it. And it shows up all the time. Every day there are examples of this. So the key to staying on track is to really listen, take that quiet time, clear out the voices in your head that most likely you got from someone else that told you, you shouldn't do that, you can't do that, you shouldn't feel that way, stop, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? Anybody ever have those voices show up? We need to work on clearing that out. That's the work to do in the pain-free living program. And the fear, the voice that makes you feel afraid, that's the lie. That's the lie. And people buy into the lie because you were programmed based on the fishbowl you grew up in. So what's something you know you need to clear out of your fishbowl? I'd like you to type that in the chat. If you want to get the most out of this call, participate and write down and type in the chat. What do you know is something that you repeat? It might be a habit of thought. It might be an emotion that you kind of get a sick pleasure from. It might be something that you do or don't do, say or don't say. What's something you know that you're doing that's contributing to putting another log on the fire that you need to put out? Type that in the chat. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. I don't want to share that. How do I close that? Okay, I want to check the chat. All right, so here's some examples. Okay, thinking no one wants to hear what I have to say. Yeah, that's one you need to clear out. Second guessing yourself. What about when you can't completely hear the message, like eating after 7 p.m., recognizing patterns and not stopping? But these are beliefs that may or may not be serving you. You know, not everyone is ill because they eat after 7 p.m. You need to think about this. See, if something is a truth, it's true for everyone. If something's true, it's true for everyone. So there may be something that would be beneficial for you in a period of time, but that doesn't mean if you don't do it, what you have is resistance to doing it. And that means you need to go deeper and ask a deeper question. If you really feel that eating after 7 p.m. is not going to serve you, why would you do that? And then you go deeper and ask deeper questions, because there's something in you that either doesn't feel worthy or wants to rebel or is afraid of losing something. All right, getting stuck in overwhelm and self-pity, commitment to failure. That's a good one to get rid of. Not taking action because of fear of failure. There it is again. This comes up a lot. Worrying about health issues. This comes up a lot. Kathleen said I freeze. Yeah. People either fight back and then burn themselves out, or they freeze up and do nothing, or they run. Those are the three common ways that people deal with what's happening that's uncomfortable. And Janet said holding on. Kate said feeling worthless. You know, I have to comment on this because I find at the root of so much with so many, literally hundreds of thousands of people, that at the root, we don't love ourselves very much. We had a lot of something dumped in that fishbowl that made us feel pretty crappy. I mean, you know, if you're swimming in algae all day, you're going to feel pretty crappy about yourself. So if you filled your mind and your body with algae, you've got some cleaning up to do. But that doesn't mean that you're worthless. And feeling worthless is one of those feelings that you gathered along the way and you believed in it. You started to identify with it. You started to feel it's true for you. And I am here to tell every one of you, I don't care what you've done. Even if you were someone that murdered and went to jail, I'm not saying that you don't need to make amends and clean that up, but you're not worthless. And in fact, the worthlessness probably contributed to the crime. So we need to really, really recognize that every time we put ourselves down, verbally, even mentally, physically, ourselves or any other beings, living beings, we're basically saying that God made junk. And that is not the truth. You were made precious, whole, perfect, complete. And don't get your worth confused with your job or your paycheck or your house or your car, or all these material things. This is where people get lost and they start to feel worthless. The homeless person is just as worthy of all good things as the billionaire. So we need to level the playing field here and get really clear on that one, because this is where I see a lot of people, they don't even feel worthy enough to get well. And so they're not motivated many times. It's probably not as strong for you, or you wouldn't take the time to be on this call. But you will probably find along the way on your healing journey, at some point, you're going to run into the lovely, worthy, worthless monster. She or she is often lurking there at some place. So thank you for bringing that up. Beating myself up for making a mistake. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That needs to go. How does beating yourself up in any way ever correct an error or make you stronger? How does that correct an error or make you stronger? It makes you feel worse and weaker. You see, we learn these things and then we keep doing them and they're not serving us. Negative thoughts, not being consistent in being positive. Another one, assuming how other people are feeling. That's a very good one. Yeah, when you make assumptions about other people, how they feel, what they think, you're going to react to that in a certain way, and that affects you. And you may not even be correct. I find this is a very important one that lies at the root of disease. Oh, Danielle has a really important one here. Going along when I don't want to. This is a symptom creator, if there ever was one, right there. People pleasing, going along, saying yes when I mean no. I would go so far to say this is probably the number 1 or 2 reason at the root of all dis-ease, is saying yes when you mean no and being a people pleaser. That's serious. And again, where is there a test for that? Where have you ever been tested for your people pleasing? Nowhere. I have come to believe it. It really has the power to kill. Overreacting to little annoyances, trying to control my grown kids. Oh boy, that'll get you every time, right? All right, what's going on this earth? Let's see, unwillingness to let go of hurts. Yeah. Physical pain is untenable. Family has denied this due to accountability. Well, but see, again, these are issues where you can't necessarily change other people. So you have to look at how to take your power back and be in your power. Deep neglect. See, this fear, I'm not saying it's not happening, but if you keep expecting help from people who are not going to help you, then you need to look in a new direction. You need to find new solutions. And I've seen many people spend decades trying to get their mother or their sister, brother, whoever, to act a certain way that they are unwilling to do. And it takes 2 people to work on a relationship. It takes 1 to change a relationship, but it takes 2 to work on it and make it work for both parties. So if you have someone who's not willing to work on it, you are banging your head against a brick wall and you're the one that's going to suffer. All right, let's see what else. Procrastination. Yeah, that's a good one that comes up a lot. And if you go deeper into, what's under the procrastination, you will find some kind of fear. So keep looking at that. Let's see. My worth used to be connected to my work. I know God doesn't make junk, but I want to feel it in my body. Okay. So the way to feel the higher emotional states in the body is to make sure your mind and your emotions really are open and able to receive that. Many people want to, but they're not open to receiving it. So look at what might be in the way of receiving and sensing the higher states that you're looking for in your own body. These, again, look at the victim consciousness, because feeling these joy and happiness and ease and comfort, it's not going to happen to you. You're going to generate it and find out that actually it's your natural state and it's already in there. Once you do the work to clear out what's clouding over it. If we don't clear the windows, you could have the beautiful view of the ocean, but you wouldn't even know the ocean's there. You see, we got to clear the soot off the windows. If we have soot in our mind and emotions, whether we've acknowledged it or not, if we don't clear the soot away, you won't notice that your natural state is very yummy. I remember a time in my life where I thought I would never feel anything but anger. I just was angry at everyone and everything, myself, you, my, family, everybody, everything. I just couldn't find it or feel anything else. And I kept chipping away, and doing the work. And lo and behold, one day, I remember when it started, and I started to feel a little bit of joy come bubbling up out of where, I don't know. And more of that sense of peace. And what I discovered is it was in there. And all you need, think about a gemstone, a crystal. On the outside, it can look like thick crust and really ugly. You keep chipping at that thing, and you might find this beautiful geode inside that's just sparkling. That's you and me. That's us. And so we can't give up. We can't say, oh, it'll never happen for me. You don't know when it's going to happen for you. But it won't happen if you don't chip away and get the soot cleared off. So I want to take a few minutes tonight before we leave the call to do a little meditation and help you facilitate a deeper state of peace and help you chip away. And so if you are driving, please turn your camera off now and come back and listen to the recording, which we'll send out tomorrow. If you are in a safe space, and preferably sitting, not lying down, because I don't want you to fall asleep. I would, first of all, does that sound good, everybody? Want to go through a little meditation? Yeah, okay, good. I like the smiles. Give me those smiles. Okay. So lean back, take everything off your lap, clear it away, no pen, no paper. And you can all hear me, right? Loud enough. I feel like I'm just screaming. All right, close your beautiful eyes. And I want you to breathe into your low belly. Put your right hand on your low belly and breathe into your low belly and let it pooch out. Let those muscles relax so that your belly expands. And then open your mouth and let out a big sigh. Breathe into your low belly again and let it blow up like a balloon. And exaggerate your exhale with a hum. And exhale with a hum this time and feel your vibration. shudder through your whole body. Breathe again into your low belly and fill up, 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 up. And this time, draw the breath up higher, up into your chest, all the way up into your heart. And now open your mouth and let out a big sigh and let go of everything you think you know about your health, your life, what we talked about today. Just let it all go. Empty yourself. Keep your gaze inward and just shut away all attention to the outer world. It will still be there when you return. And just keep your gaze internally. And just take a minute of quiet at first here and listen and notice how you feel, how your body is without any judgment. Notice if you feel excited or nervous or vibrating or calm, or just notice how your energy feels in your body right now. Just notice it, no judgment. And let yourself breathe normally and naturally. And just sense your own energy. What do you feel like right now? You may want to turn your palms up and rest them on your thighs. And notice how it feels in the palms of your hands. You may begin to notice different parts of your body talking to you, getting your attention. You may notice uncomfortable or comfortable areas. If your thoughts take over, that's okay. Just notice the thoughts. Don't try to make any thoughts go away or judge them. Just notice there's a lot of thoughts going on, or not. You might notice in the quiet space that emotions start to bubble up. It's just energy. Energy loves to move around. Let it come up. It's just a feeling, my friends. It will not harm you. Now I'm going to ask you to use your imagination now. And I'd like you to think about someone or something or a place that you really, really love. Someone or somewhere, place perhaps, or something that you really, really love. And if you can't think of it, just make it up. You can make it up any way you wish. And I want you to picture and imagine and think about, see if you can picture in your mind's eye the colors, any sounds that go along with this person or place that you really love or thing that you love. And begin to notice how it makes you feel in your body when you think about this person, place, or thing that you really, really love. Where do you feel that in your body? What does it feel like? Just notice that feeling. And let that feeling really come up. In fact, turn it up. Turn it way up. Let that feeling spread throughout your entire body and being. Imagine the feeling of that person, place, or thing that you love. Imagine it's a color. And imagine that color flowing up and down and all around inside you, flowing all the way through you, out the soles of your feet, out the palms of your hand, out the top of your head, flowing like a waterfall over you, behind you, in front of you, around you, under you, surrounding you and filled up with this feeling and this color of someone or something you love. We'll take another minute now, just sitting in the quiet, feeling it, picturing it, hearing it, sensing it. And while you're doing that, I want you to press your thumb and index finger together, like you're impressing it upon your entire being, this feeling and the color of someone or something you love. Press it into your thumb and index finger. Press them together now. Now take a deep, long breath in and out now. And a big exhale. And take another deep, long breath in and out now. And one more time, big, long breath in and out. And come all the way back now. And slowly, gently open your eyes. Now I'd just like to take 1 minute here. Those of you that noticed feeling calmer, more relaxed, more comfortable, some kind of what you would call a positive feeling in your body physically, as we did this today, go down to the reactions and give me a heart or a thumbs up and let me know that you felt something and it felt positive or powerful or calm, or it helped you in some way to focus in this way that I guided you to do. And you can type yes in the chat if you don't know where the reactions are. Okay, good. There are the hearts. Yeah, everybody vote. Did you feel something or not? If you didn't feel something, that's okay. A feeling of lightness, yes. Hearts and hearts, okay, good. Lots of hearts going on. Calm, great. Happiness, great. Great. Whatever you felt, if you found that you were unable to access anything that you would call positive, that's okay. It doesn't mean you're not able to. It might take some practice to begin to turn away from the habit sleepy, palms tingling, feeling of peace, good, calmness, more hearts, safety, good, good, good. We want to learn some tools to cultivate an inner state of calm and happiness, peace and safety. This will enable your body to come back into balance and heal more rapidly. So very simple little meditation I just took you through. You can practice that on your own. Everyone can find or think of something or someone or somewhere that they love. And if you put a little bit of attention on that in your spare time, you will find that you'll start to create a new habit that you will physically feel. And it's going to be an important part of your self-care, especially if you are suffering and you have days or months where you're just very focused on the problem and what hurts. Those are the times when we need to just turn left or right and practice a tool like this. Or if you really want and need the help, please reach out to me. That's why I'm here. You can work with me one-on-one. You can work with me in my group program. I even have a self-study course, and the high-speed healing is included in the self-study course. There's something for everyone. So, but do your best to reach out and use the tools that have been proven to help people all over the world. You don't need to figure it out and reinvent the wheel. And if you could have figured it out, you most likely would have by now. So I'm here to help you in any way I can. And I love helping you. And if you leave today, leave with this, remember this final thought that there's nothing that stops you from healing. The body is designed to heal. It just must be given a safe space, a clean fishbowl, a safe space and the right tools, and the support that you need when you need it, because we're not meant to be islands all alone, doing everything on our own and figuring it all out. That is not really the way nature works. We live in community, in an ocean, and we're all interconnected. So some questions coming in. You can reach out. Let me put it in the chat here. If you go to internationalcpi.com, I just put that in the chat. You look at the top, there's a menu at the top of the website, and it says, I think it says get started, I believe. I should know, and I don't. You'll see something in the top bar, and there's a drop-down menu, and it will show you the different ways you can work with me. If you have any questions, just email contact@internationalcpi.com. I just put that in the chat. And my assistant, and my team and I, we answer every email. It may take us a few days, but we answer every email. So don't hesitate to reach out. There are also videos on the website. I have a YouTube channel. You might find those very helpful. And really the best recommendation I have is to start with what I call my discovery session. Someone's asking, well, how many sessions does it take? Every single person is different, and I can't really give you that answer. But what I have found over the course of many years of doing this, that the average person needs at least 4 to 6 sessions to most people start to change right away, literally in the first or second session. It's very rare that someone doesn't have change happen. In fact, it could be everything changes. But then the question is, will you hold the everything changing? This is where you may not realize how you'll dip back down because of your old habits of thought and emotional habits. And so I like to see people start, I'm going to put the link here, with the discovery session. It's internationalcpi.com/discovery. That's great if you're brand new to my work, if you've never worked with me, if you're not sure this is for you, if you hope it's for you, but you don't want to invest deeply because you want to feel it out. That's where you start with the discovery session. And then we'll have time for a deep conversation, and I can help you find your blind spots and do the high-speed healing for you. And then you'll have a sense of whether this is for you and you resonate or not. And then the pain-free living program, which you'll find internationalcpi.com/PFLP. I just put that in the chat. That's the pain-free living program. That's the more in-depth, where you get the self-care tools, you get me live to help you with a group, you get the amazing group of people committed to healing and using the tools, and you get just a whole library of information and meditations and tools that you can use that are practical, that you'll learn the key ones that I teach you in the pain-free living program, and you can use those the rest of your life on any pain pattern or symptom. And you won't even need to listen to read anything or listen. It'll become a part of your daily living. These tools that I teach are important, and they will show you how to change the false beliefs and thinking habits. They will show you how to release the emotions, and then you'll keep getting the energy healing with me or from me, and that speeds up the entire healing process. So for those of you that really know, like, you don't want to waste one more minute, you want to dive into the deep end and you want that kind of help, I would go to the pain-free living program and make sure you sign up for the live group calls, and that way you'll get my support as well. I hope that answered your question. But no matter what, just know that there are plenty of resources on the website for you, even if you're not ready to do anything and you just want to watch some more videos and kind of listen to more calls. You can also download a free copy of my best-selling book, Why Do I Still Hurt? And it's like a workbook that I think many of you will benefit from if you like to read and you're willing to read and answer the questions and do the work. You can download a digital copy on the website, but you can get that's the free copy. If you want an actual paperback, go to Amazon and you'll find that there. With that, my friends, thank you, all of you, so much. Almost everybody, as usual, stayed on the call, and it's been another 2-hour long one. So thank you for participating. You are really, you feed me by showing me that you're open to a new way of thinking and a new way of being and a new way of thinking about healing and what it takes to heal. And you are the trailblazers, and I admire you for that. Don't stop. Stay on the trail, reach out if I can help you. And with that, let's unmute and say good night to each other, or good day to each other, or wherever you are in the world. Let me find out. Wait, I don't want that. I want this. Ask everyone to unmute. All right. Let's say good night and good day and bye-bye and thank you. And I hope to see
long,
you.
everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Deborah.
you, Debora.
Thanks,
Thank
Debora.
you.
You.
Thank you.
Good night.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Glad you enjoyed. Come back soon.